Good morning. And today's pocket six is full ring, folds all the way around to the small blind, who raises the 2.5 big blinds. That's kind of interesting. Interesting size for the small blind. I think typically with small blinds going to be raising a little bit larger since they'll be out of position. I only have 5 hands on them, so we're going to kind of go blind on this one. And think about, what does the general population do? I think the general population tends to be skewed more towards decent hands when they raise. Definitely, they could have like suited aces, but I think usually it's going to be pretty pretty tight, um, pretty solid range. I'm going to say definitely Broadway hands. Um, and it is blinds versus blinds, so he only needs to get by one person, me. um, so that's 13.7%. Question is, what would he just limp with? What would he have limped? And I think he could have limped with these other, you know, aces. I think the rest of these suited aces. I think ace nine could be a raise, could be a limp. I think he could be limping with some of the suited connectors, maybe the suited kings as well, maybe the suited queens, um, the lower pocket pairs, and so forth. So I think that's going to be his raising range, and then it's on us. Um, it is blind versus blind, and we're going to be in position. So I'm not sure if it would benefit us to raise at all. I mean, we're definitely raising with premiums to build up the pot, but when you consider the strength of his range, in this case, I think it's probably would be better just for us to call with hands like this, because if we raise, he's really only going to be folding at the very bottom, and he will be pretty darn strong. So if we have a stronger limping range or calling range in this case, then we've kept a larger number of hands in his range. Um, so I think we're gonna leave it like that. We're gonna adjust it because I don't think it's gonna be a tip. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be a typical steal, blind steal. So we're gonna go with this. Did I call? I did call. Again, not surprised. I did select for that. So we've got a 17.5%. We've got 232 combos versus their range, which again is going to be at a tighter type of range. So 13.7 and 182 combos. And we see a flop of Jack of Hearts, 7 of Diamonds, 4 of Spades. So that is somewhat of a dry board. One big card, a jack, it's not overly big, could have hit either of us, or it probably misses both of us. So I don't, in terms of equities, my equity is 42.9 versus his, which is 57.1. Villain 8, I expect most players on a board like this will be c-betting top pair. They'll probably be c-betting these 8s, 9s, and 10s, pocket pair below the top pair. I don't think he'll be betting these bottom pairs. And even the pocket pair below the top card, kind of questionable. Kind of depends on what what sizing they choose. So they did 2.5, so half pot. I think that's sufficient for 8s, 9s, and 10s. They're betting because again, this board's gonna miss me just as frequently as it misses him in most cases. I think he doesn't really have no straight draws. He could have backdoor flush draws. Um, would he bet here with overcards or 2-card backdoor straight draw? I think so. I think with the no-made hand, I don't think he's necessarily going to be restricted just to backdoor straight draws, but I think all of his aces are going to be betting here, c-betting. We could probably make an argument that the kings are also going to be c-betting. But I think we'll just keep the aces. So he's c-betting at 81.6%. So now it's on us. What do? We definitely need to think about, you know, the hands that we're up against. I think he's representing something pretty good. So I kind of think, you know, we're going to be calling top pair plus. I think we can call pocket pair below the top card because he does have some of those weak cards. I'm not sure about middle pair or pocket pair below the second card. Yeah, we have position. Question is, do we, you know, how many hands do we think does he have in this, you know, unpaired range? And I just don't. I don't think there's the whole lot. I mean, we had, you know, 39%. Let's see if we can change the color on here so we can kind of get. There it is. 39%. That's if he does it with all of his aces. Maybe he's only going to do it with ace king, which really drops it down. So I think we could be justified in calling with our middle pair and with the pocket pair below the second card just to see how things develop. It's a half pot bet. It guards against, you know, the bluffing, just the overcards, and you know, all we have to do is you know, avoid, you know, ace king queen, and you know, if he checks to us, we have an opportunity to bet with those hands, or to see it. I think gut shot we're definitely going to be calling, and I think we're at 56. I think we could call with 2-card backdoor flush draws. I think in terms of our 2-card backdoor flush draws, though, I think we're going to be trying to call that has some extra equity. So let's say king, queen, king 10. I'm not sure, ace 9. I would do those. We have high card strength, we have backdoor flush draw, and we have backdoor straight draw. So, you know, we have opportunity where a face card could give us some equity in terms of straight as well. I think queen 10, 10 9, 10 8. I think that's all part of our gut shots. Same thing, 9 8. So I kind of think that's what we're going to be doing. And you've got 74 25. Do you think we can raise? I don't think we can raise. I don't think we really can rep enough weak hands and enough weak hands that have equity that would allow us to continue on a turn bet. Board's just pretty dry. I think it's going to be a check call. So what do? I did check call. So let's get these hands. I continue with 64% of my range. I have 130 combos. We said he was going to continue with like 81%. Definitely has it's 133. Definitely has equity edge. Not a huge amount because we're not calling with some of our junk. Ace of Spades comes out. That could be a good card, could be a bad card. I think overall, if he's betting any of his offsuit or his unpaired aces, yeah, that's a great card for him. He's not going to fold, and I think he's reasonable. It's a reasonable thought for him to bet now, bet again. So I think, you know, when he bets, we're just going to have to give up on quite a few of our hands. He checks, which I would have thought top pair plus is going to bet. So once he checked, let's turn this. I think it kind of goes to this. And maybe the flush draws. Those are all pairs. So I think at this point, he could be tricky and be checking with the ace. But, I think a lot of players would just continue firing second barrel. That helps his range. If he's betting over cards, I mean, the ace hits him, so I would have expected overpair. So I think that's going to be his checking range. And now it's on us. What do we do? Once he checks, I think we're going to be betting. I think our sets, our two pairs, our top pair, and that's going to be balanced by our flush draws. And I think our gut shots might give us a little too many. So flush draws and gut shots. I think we check middle pair. We check behind with middle pair. I think we check behind, these other pocket pairs. We do have some equity with them. And if we bet, I'm not really expecting. I mean, I would expect 8s, 9s, 10s to fold. Middle pair probably doesn't fold, and these kings and queens probably don't fold. So we're looking at trying to get this 32% fold here. So I think that's kind of what I should be betting. And I did. I bet 7 big blinds here, which 70% pot. I kind of like it. We're challenging him on a card that he should have continued. He should have fired a second barrel. He calls, so I think I'm gonna say he folds the pocket pair below the second card. And he's got his flush draw still. So we're gonna say he's got this. Turn range. And number of combos is 39 combos. We have a few more draws in our range. So this is 43.2% and 54. And I think, looking ahead, what do we bet? I think we bet the spade. I think we bet on a spade. We're going to be betting our flush draws, our flushes. If we hit our gut shot, we're definitely going to be betting our gut shots if we connect with it. The spade, I think we're going to probably be bet our kings, king, queen, king, jack, king 10. Maybe the queen, jack, queen 10, but I think the other spades we're probably just going to check behind with the understanding that I don't know if he's going to be able to call with anything other than the flush. I think on a spade we're gonna check our sets. I think on the gut shots we would also bet. If the gut shot gets there, we're gonna bet our sets. I think we're also gonna be betting our two pair. I think top pair is just gonna be a check, check behind. So king of spades hits. So that kind of revises our flush. We would bet the queens. And probably that's it. Probably only the queen. So we got king of spades. My range's equity improved. His went down. So you can see like my flushes, queen jack, queen 10 are probably hands that I would bet. I don't think jack 10, jack 9 is a bet in this case. I think we check behind our straights. This also connects. Yeah, kind of not the best card. So villain 8 checks. I think he's going to be checking probably everything, except maybe the flush. Maybe the if we take out the queen jack, kind of expect queen jack would probably bet, but I think he's got everything else. What does he do? He checks. So once he checks, I think for us, we're going to be checking. So let's take out the queen jack, queen 10. Yeah, I don't. Maybe we could bet the nothing kind of as a bluff, but I think mostly we're just going to be checking behind here. So he shows tens. Is tens in his range? He did. We took out this. We assumed he would have check folded those, but he didn't. So I think we could make a note. Let's see here. So C bet. How about that? C bet out of position. BBB with 10 with under pair. 10-10. Check call on ace turn. Would he have folded? He might have folded. It's definitely possible he might have folded to a river bet. But I mean, if he called that 10, he didn't believe we had an ace, didn't believe we had a jack. I think it's going to be hard for him to fold. Some people are just going to be calling stations. So could we have played this hand differently? I'm not sure. Could have raised, but again, I think this is part of his strong calling range. I think we kind of played it okay. The only question was maybe the river. We bet 7 on the turn. We didn't follow through on the river on a card that could have helped us. You know, the spade or the gut shot. I just think the king of spades was probably the worst card that could come. I think the king of spades and king of spades, queen of spades are probably the worst ones that could come up. Because now you know that I don't have like the suited ace x of spades, and with the king I don't have like my suited king x of spades either. So that means I would have had to play like queen jack of spades, queen 10 of spades, which is possible. So I think king and the queen of spades are probably, and possibly even the 10 of spades, probably the worst of the spades that could come. If this was like a king of hearts, king of diamonds, I think we could have bet again. Because it could have hit some of our gut shot. It hits a lot more of our hands, and I think now, now that we know he would call those hands, I think it makes it harder for him to call the middle pair and the pocket pair below the second cards. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, look tomorrow for another hand.